fresh off the press. The Fox News decision desk can now project that Georgia Democrat Raphael Warnock will unseat Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler, giving Democrats a 49 Senate seat and keeping alive Democratic hopes of taking control of the chamber, provided Warnock's Democrat colleague Jon Ossoff can defeat Republican David Perdue. The Perdue-Ossoff race, as of right now, is still too close to call. All right, let's bring back in the panel. I want to get reaction all around. Judy, break it down. What does this mean? Big news.
Well, this is a good night for President Biden. It's a good night for Democrats. We still have the second race outstanding, but it looks as if Joe Biden is going to be in a better position to accomplish at least some of his agenda than he was at the beginning of today. Look, I think that the race, and we'll know later after we have a chance to interview Georgia voters, but it seems to me that the president really undermined Republicans in Georgia. He undermined the two candidates by basically putting them in a very difficult position, and by his call to the Georgia election officials, 18 calls before the election official finally responded. If you've listened at all to that tape, it was kind of shocking. An appeal in an almost Mafia Don-like fashion, no pun intended, to get the votes that weren't there for Republican candidates. And I think that voters were turned off by this, despite the huge amount of money that was spent on this election in political advertising.
All right, let's talk about the balance of power, Brad. So now with the addition of, I guess, Senator-elect Reverend Warnock, we've got 49 seats to the Democrats, 50 seats to the Republicans. That outstanding race, the Ossoff-Perdue race at this hour, still unknown. Does this shift anything around even right now in the immediate?
I don't think so. I think all eyes are on Perdue's race. If we're able to hold the majority is the one that controls the agenda in the Senate, the chairmanships. So I think even a one-seat majority is a majority, and there's a tremendous amount of power and leverage that goes along with that. Of course, if we lose that, there's still a 50-50 Senate with Kamala Harris coming in to break a tie. So I don't think that Joe Biden is in any better shape with one than he would with two. There's still a break, if you will, on the power and restraint that the Senate will have over the administration.
Sean, I know this is not the news you were hoping for on the first race, but talk to me about, now that we can kind of start doing a post-mortem, at least on this one race, talk to me about where you think some of the log jams were. I mean, a lot of Republicans, voters and lawmakers really thought that President Trump rallying in Dalton Monday night was going to help carry both these candidates across the finish line. People at that rally were pumped up. I remember Steve Harrigan reporting live from the rally as it was going on, saying he has never seen Trump supporters angrier, more fired up, more ready to get out and vote. What happened?
Yeah, listen, I think that, Democrats obviously had a good night. I think when we do the postmortem, you're going to see that there was a massive African-American voter turnout, which was huge for Reverend Warnock. And I think, if my number's right, I think it was a 30% increase from the November election. That's made up a margin that I think Democrats had about 90% turnout of the November election, and Republicans might have been slightly less than that. And I think that's going to be the story that's written here. And I think, President Trump did a great job. You needed his voters to come out and support these two Senate candidates. And obviously they did. But in the Warnock race, Loeffler race, they didn't come out of the numbers that were needed. I would just note that Republicans, again, normally do very well in these runoffs. It'll be interesting to see how the Perdue race goes. The Perdue name is like the gold standard in Georgia. Sonny Perdue, who was a Democrat state senator and then was a Republican governor and now is the Secretary of Agriculture. A lot of Democrats like him, so he has a little extra wind to his back compared to Kelly Loeffler. It's going to be interesting, and I know it's tight.
Yeah, well, panel, thanks so much. We'll check back in with you again later in the hour. Stick with us, stand by. We have just learned that Raphael Warnock has unseated Senator Kelly Loeffler.